the value added program of soft skills. Today we are going to talk about group discussion as an important soft skill. Nowadays, every job interview is preceded by a group discussion, which is typically called as GD. Along with a personal interview, a group discussion is called as GDPI. What exactly is the GD or group discussion? A group discussion is an exchange of information, opinions, views, perspectives, and ideas about a particular topic that is to be discussed among a group of members. The topic will be given then and there once you reach the place. The group will be decided then and there. Some 8 to 9 members will sit as a group and a topic will be given with 10 minutes time for the preparation. A piece of paper and a pen are given to you. You can think about the topic, browse about the topic, and note down the points on the piece of paper along with the examples that you can share, or maybe the anecdotes that you can narrate, and so on and so forth. After the 10 minutes is over, all of the group members have to sit in a rounded fashion, maybe across a round table, facing each other, and then talk about the topic that has been given to them. Normally, when you talk about that particular topic, you should be thorough in whatever you are speaking. The person who opens the topic is what is called as a leader. This leader also evolves slowly as with his leadership skills as a leader by allowing others also to express this opinion, by becoming a mediator to open the discussion, to mediate the discussion, to take the discussion further. And if the discussion is going on in a different direction, which is away from the topic, it is the job of the leader to get the entire group back and see that the topic is discussed threadbare. Why should we go for a group discussion at all? What will we be testing? As we said, 5 to 9 members will be there in a group discussion. And essentially, when you talk in a group, the GD tests both speaking as well as listening skills. How best you can express your point is one aspect of your judging. How good listener you are while the group discussion is going on. Do you listen to others at all? Do you incorporate the opinions of others at all? Is again another aspect of observation on the individuals. Normally, this is a face-to-face situation whereupon the equitable distribution of participation by all is what is expected. Every group discussion will have a decency, a decorum, a discipline, harmony, and balance. Unlike arguing with each other, it is a sort of discussion that should take place. So listen to what others are telling. You come out with what your point is, giving certain examples, agreeing to some and politely disagreeing to the others, and putting your point very emphatically and strongly, trying to convince the people. Maybe if somebody else has got better points about the same topic in the group discussion, you could be convinced. Either you convince others for your point, or you could be convinced and ultimately present a solution for the topic that has been discussed in the group discussion. Now, whether you are able to tolerate others' opinions, whether you are able to emphatically present your opinions, how the discipline is maintained, the decency is maintained, the decorum is maintained when the topic is discussed threadbare among 5 to 9 different group of people from different backgrounds, enables you to brand whether you can tolerate and work in groups or no. Why do you think such type of testing is required? Yes, definitely group discussion is a wonderful skill that is to be developed by all of us, because we always work in groups, either if it is a project in the school level, or maybe the college level, or maybe in the office. You always work in groups, either the smaller groups or the bigger groups. Now, participation in the group discussion will enable you to be tested whether you are able to be a tolerant individual in the group or no, which is an important qualification to get you a job. So even before your personal interview is taken, a group discussion participation is a must. And most of the questions in the personal interview are concentrating on the way in which you behave in the group discussion. So it's very important that you develop your group dynamics and participate in a group discussion with a very positive attitude. The candidates are judged here in a group discussion for number one, the intellectual ability, whether you understand a particular topic or no, and how best you can express yourself using your element of creativity. So, intellectual ability and creativity are the two important aspects that are tested when you participate in a group discussion. Not only this, in the group discussion, you are also tested as to how you approach to problems and how you solve the problems with the help of taking the opinion of everybody sitting in the group. Your qualities of leadership also are tested here, whether you are evolving as a leader or a follower can be tested very well in just the 10 minutes time that you are participating in the group discussion. Whether you are tolerant to others, how best your group behavior is when you are participating with others is all very important group dynamics that are tested in a group discussion. So your active participation and your wonderful support to each other is very essential, which becomes a positive attitude. Even before you open your mouth and say something, your group behavior and group dynamics and the body language that you maintain to look at others, to listen to others, to respond to others, and to encourage others to participate are all very, very important in a group discussion. The number one thing that makes you a good participant in a group discussion is the content. The content about a particular topic can be expressed or may be developed by good general knowledge about the topic, good knowledge about the entire subject, awareness of the current situation, and comparatively a decent language expressed in a typical Indian general English pronunciation is what is expected. Now, if the problem is for developing the content, as we already discussed in communication skills also, it's very important for us to read the newspapers, to listen to the news, to listen to the National Geographic programs or maybe international incidents that are going on and so on and so forth. You also should be very, very particular about reading the current topics in the magazines, in the newspapers, in the journals, and so on and so forth to develop knowledge about various current topics. One cannot predict as to what the group discussion topic could be. It could be then and there, and normally chits are made on the current topics or the common topics, and you are supposed to pick up the chit. So it is chance that you talk about a particular subject. You should be prepared for variegated subjects so that you can participate in the group discussion with efficiency and good knowledge. The successful GDs will have, of course, number one, content. It's not necessary if you know about a topic. What is even more important is to express whatever you know using good communication skills. Your knowledge about the language, your vocabulary, your pronunciation, your way in which you maintain the body language are all very important when you participate in a GD. Content is 50% and 50% is the communication skills and expression. So a successful GD will have content and communication along with critical and creative thinking, because this is very important that you listen to others and you might change your attitude then and there sitting as a participant in the group discussion. So how critically you evaluate the thoughts that are floated in the group discussion, how creatively you can think then and there and convert your points accordingly and express is also tested in a group discussion. Not only critical and creative thinking, but your group behavior and group dynamics. How do you encourage the others to participate in the discussion? How do you motivate the non-participant also to enter into a discussion? How do you tolerate if somebody is contradicting you? How do you encourage your own self? How do you motivate your own self to express yourself in spite of the fact that everybody else is talking negative about the topic? Are all the group dynamics and group behavior and your smile and an encouraging way in which you allow everybody to participate, putting your own views, is what a successful GD is all about. So communication becomes very important apart from content. Content, of course, you can develop by reading the newspapers, listening to the news, reading magazines, reading popular journals on various variegated topics. Good communication skills can be developed the moment you have good vocabulary with you. And the vocabulary can be improved again by reading newspapers, referring to the dictionary, and collecting at least 10 words a day, memorizing them, thinking about them, and internalizing these words, their pronunciation and their meaning, and so on. Not only the vocabulary is to be mastered, but also an element of fluency is to be maintained when you are speaking. By fluency of speech, we mean that good phonetic knowledge is required, good vocabulary is required, grammatically correct sentences are to be made in order to express yourself better and to be understood. The right word at the right time will enable your speech to be very effective, and this would come only with practice. So the most interesting thing about the fluency of speech and the vocabulary is that keep on using the language and talking in English with everybody in various situations, and start talking, giving small talks by standing in front of a mirror, so that you could develop the fluency and also could find the right vocabulary for expressing your ideas. When you are participating in a group discussion, never exhaust your ideas and tell completely whatever you had to say at a stroke and stop. For the next, 9.5 minutes, you are not going to talk anything at all. No, that should not happen. If you have jotted down on the piece of paper about a particular topic, say 4 points and 2, say, examples or anecdotes, then every time you open your mouth, it should be confined only to 1 point and 1 aspect. Again, after a few minutes, maybe break in and come out with the second point. Then again break in and give the example with the third point. Then again break in and give the anecdote with the fourth point. So 4 times you have broken in to the group discussion, which will enable you to say that you are a good participant. You are an active participant in the group discussion. So don't give a long speech of 1 minute, exhaust all your ideas and just sit idle. That becomes a negative point. So never exhaust your ideas. Talk very brief and relevant. Only 1 point at a time. And maybe if an example is required for the point to illustrate, an example. That's it. The second point, maybe you should reserve for the next break-in. Break the sessions and discussions many times rather than exhausting your ideas at the first time itself. That will enable you to brand that you are a good participant and active in the group discussion. The next interesting point about a successful GD is critical and creative thinking. Now, this can be developed. Many a times it happens that about a particular topic, you know some 2 or 3 points. But when you are participating in the group discussion and listening to others, you automatically will have a different perspective and a different example also that can come to your mind then and there, sitting in the discussion point. This is what we mean by critical and creative thinking. So then and there you should be in a position to come out with whom you are supporting, whom you are not supporting, if you are supporting, why, if you are not supporting, why, and reject in a polite way and accept in a very decent way. All this group dynamics, all this participation dynamics is what is called as critical and creative thinking. This involves a lot of networking like active thinking, building on others' points, negotiating how can you best express yourself, persuading others towards your point, and collating views, rejecting politely to some other, accepting politely and decently to others, and presenting your point in a more emphatic way requires definitely critical and creative thinking capabilities of the individual. So the third interesting point is the critical and creative thinking skills. And then of course your behavior. How do you participate into it? Do you open your mouth in the beginning of the group discussion itself, exhaust all your ideas in say 50 to 60 minutes and just keep quiet, not bothered about what others are telling and not bothered about involving yourself or commenting, when others are talking, is a bad group behavior. What is expected is once your point is said, as we already discussed, if 4 points are there, break in 4 times to express yourself with examples and with anecdotes. And when you are not talking, when you are done with your talking, listen to others very patiently, very enthusiastically, as if you are very much interested into it, and nod your head and express the body language in such a way that you are very much interested into it. Sometimes you may say yes by nodding your head, and sometimes maybe your body language could say that it is not acceptable, and then politely reject, decently accept. All this will enable you to participate in the group discussion in a very efficient way. Initiative taking abilities, number 1. Leadership qualities of calling others who are non-participants also to participate into it, involving everybody, maybe by telling that, let's listen to what Mr. X is trying to say, who has been silent for a long time. So you are like a leader, inviting others and also making the group discussion very lively. So your initiative taking capabilities, your leadership qualities, your capacity to coordinate, and diverse viewpoints are to be discussed threadbare, with which sometimes you may go, sometimes you may not go. How are you going to manage all these diversities of thoughts is all the group behavior about. So a group discussion participation of 10 to 15 minutes will also test your group behavior, right? Remember, although expressing your viewpoints is appreciated, it is equally important that you draw more reticent participation into the discussion and involve them in the decision-making process. You can have a number of GDs, like one is called as concrete and fact-oriented topics, where the need of factual content and right perspective is what is important, and the other is abstract topics which need the interpretations and critical thinking. GDs can be of both types, concrete as well as abstract. When you are structuring a GD, always aim at becoming the leader. You start the discussion and give a chance to others. Don't wait for somebody else to talk about. So starting the discussion will automatically give you the position of a leader. Become the lead. Entering a discussion. How many times do you break in and enter the discussion? What exactly are your opening comments and what exactly are your concluding comments will enable you to become a good participant in the group discussion. How can you enter into the group discussion? Make comments on the previous contribution. You may have to change the trend of discussion by sometimes agreeing to others, sometimes disagreeing to others, sometimes amplifying whatever others have said, and sometimes restricting also. So follow your own methodology according to the group and according to the topic. How can you open a GD? Now, the examples that are provided here on the slide may not be rote learned, but at least you understand how to open it. Say, for example, we are here today to discuss whatever the topic is. Let's decide how to proceed with the discussion. Let's start off with number 1. Can you please give your views on? These are some of the good ways of opening a group discussion. Some initial comments can be like, what I think is, I feel that. The main point that I wish to make is, I agree up to a certain point, but this is a polite way of disagreement. I must disagree with your opinion because, straight away, I would question whether it seems to me that, as far as I am concerned, I don't agree with the previous speaker because, give the reason. You just cannot say I don't agree. But you have to give your reason as to why you don't agree, and you also have to say what exactly is the counter argument for it. So all these are some model initial comments. Sometimes you have to interrupt in the group discussion sometimes. The interrupting comments could be, please don't interrupt, let me finish, if somebody is trying to interrupt you. Can you wait till I finish, please? These are some polite ways of, stopping the interrupting comments. The topic turning comments will be, I think we are moving away from the point. Many a times it happens when you are discussing about a particular topic, the discussion will go off to some other point, catching a small point and deviating from the main topic itself. Then it is the job of the leader to get the entire group together. I think we are moving away from the point. If I may turning now to, I want to comment briefly on, I intend to make points about. Now to elaborate on the first point, so all these are some good ways of, coming back to the main topic. While you are discussing the comments, I strongly believe that if you are agreeing, with all due respect, I'm sorry, I don't agree with the speaker, isn't agree. I'm not in a position to say anything about if you are confused or if you don't want to say no to this or that. If we look at it in another light, on the contrary, I don't think anyone could disagree with are some of the beautiful comments of discussion. What could be the concluding comments then? I can't help thinking, can I finish please? Finally, to sum up, so, and therefore, that's why are some of the concluding comments. So we saw what the opening comments are, we saw what the middle comments are, how to how to break in and start the comments about you, how to stop if anybody is interfering in between, and how to make a concluding comment also. So, successful GDs will have the topic that should be discussed threadbare, not moving here and there. Analyze the topic word by word and look at the topic from the point of view of all affected parties. That will give you points to talk about. Look at the topic from all angles and possible perspectives. Identify the references to be used during the discussion in the form of examples, statistics, anecdotes, and so on and so forth. Of course, the stories and the anecdotes that you are discussing will be very small. In 1 minute of time, the story should be over, your point also should be over. So be very precise to make your GD successful. Emphasize on the points on which there were differences and where there were convergence of opinions, and then also make the concluding remark. If you are evolving as a leader, you will begin, you will allow others to complete, you will break in a number of times, and ultimately you will also conclude. To do this, the beautiful way of concluding the JD is that quickly talk about each person who has participated and recollecting what they have said, conclude them with one sentence. So quickly recap the important points that have come during the discussion, and it is necessary to give a proper conclusion. The group decides either it is agree or disagree. You have to decide upon it. Remember, when you are participating in a group discussion, prepare well by reading and reflecting on the topic. Anticipate the points of others. Listen to others keenly. Break in and make your point emphatically. Don't wait to be called on, you automatically should go in. Be loud enough to be heard by all. You cannot be talking to yourself. Your speech should be loud enough. Your body language should be confident, and your pronunciation should be absolutely right with a good grammar and good expression. That will make your GD successful. So always remember to make brief remarks rather than long speeches. Nobody listens to the speeches. Be open-minded rather than dogmatic. Try to be group-centered rather than self-centered. Avoid personal attacks and name calling. Never call on name. My previous speaker, my esteemed friend, my honorable colleague. All these are some good ways of never take names and never point your finger at others and start making comments. No personal attacks of any sort. Accept criticism with dignity and rebut it with strong arguments. Back your arguments with evidence and authority. Use appropriate gestures and expressions. And always remember to maintain the eye contact with the group members. You can't be looking on top or looking beneath the table or on the floor while you are speaking or while you are participating. Look into the eyes of the people, especially the person who is talking. That will show that you are interested in listening to it. Now, these are some topics that you can think of. All the world is a stage. Black is beautiful. Deforestation is harmful. Beauty lies in the beholder's eyes. Marriages are made in heaven. Love marriages and arranged marriages. Success comes through hard work or destiny. Beauty or brains. Students and politics. Right? Will India emerge as a world power? Etc. So think about these topics and maybe make some notes and start talking about those topics. If the group is not there, the best way to practice for you is stand in front of a mirror, prepare on a particular topic, stand in front of a mirror and start talking. Check your body language, check the way in which your facial expressions change, check the way you have your gestures and see that you give your best. Your composed, cool nature should be seen in your body language, your speech and also the beautiful smile on your face. Hope you had enjoyed and understood what a group discussion is. All the very best to have a wonderful group discussion sessions ahead. Bye for now.